Assalamu alaikum ji. Welcome back to another episode of Kahe, Kazi. My guest today is Zahra Khan. Zahra Khan's an old friend, a colleague. She works in advertising and she's recently started a cheese startup. She started this cake phenomena, if you want to call it that. It's called the No Nonsense Cheesecake, and we get to talking about the cheesecake itself, the genealogy of it, where it started, how it came to be what it is, and feminism. Enjoy. Three, two, one. Zahra Khan. How you doing, Zahra? You good?
I'm good.
You were talking about, what were we talking about before?
Lots of things.
You were talking about so many things. Do not speak on the podcast about.
No, but there's nothing. I'm an open book.
You're talking about your husband chewing gum on the nikah ceremony. I mean, I don't know.
So Kazi was just saying that one of the rules are that we cannot chew gum during this podcast.
No, you
and I was like, I totally understand because my husband was chewing gum on his nikah and it was caught on camera, and throughout all of these emotional moments, Babar is just chewing gum.
Yes, you're so aggressive because you looked into the camera. This is for Babar, huh?
This is for you.
I'm sorry.
And this is for all other men who are going to be having their nikah. Please do not chew gum.
All right. So I want to start with obviously the cheesecakes. It's such a brilliant thing, and I asked you to be on the podcast.
Months
3 weeks.
ago.
It's a month now. It's been a month. And Alhamdulillah, since then, the cake's taken off.
Yeah,
and Alhamdulillah, Allah khair karega, Allah kamyab karega. But I really wanted to speak on a couple of levels. Ek to ye, कि you have a very conventional job otherwise.
Yep.
You have a desk.
Yep.
There's an office.
I did until quarantine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it goes away. Right?
Yeah.
And then
during quarantine. Huh?
During quarantine. Because of quarantine, through no fault of your own.
Yeah.
कोई आपका मसला नहीं था. You were doing your job.
Yeah.
And then the cake thing
is
the opposite of conventional.
Yeah.
It's the most unconventional thing you could have done.
Yeah.
So
for me, because I have absolutely zero culinary experience.
Sure.
Don't know anything about baking.
I mean,
it was literally, I wouldn't say experimental, but it was something which was completely unintentional.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kicked off.
It turned out really good.
And it's the only reason why I'm continuing to do it is because it is an actual product which people like. We're not, honestly, people ask, oh, can you add lotus to it? Can you add strawberry sauce? Can you write happy birthday on it? I said, I have no expertise. With any of these things. I can write happy birthday on the box, or maybe
through a marker,
or maybe get a pie in the sky ka jo wo banner hota hai which you put, which I've actually I've done that. मैंने 2-3 उठाए हैं मैंने वहाँ से, and I just put them on the cheesecake. But that's the most I can do.
Well, I suppose I made a vlog about it, which has since been removed from my YouTube channel as well.
Why?
Because I'm being more serious now, more sophisticated.
What the hell, you removed it?
No. I'll put it back. Don't be upset.
I have to repost it on my new page, by the way, so that's why.
हाँ वो मैं कर लूँगा. वो हम बात कर लेंगे. मतलब एक आध आप भेज देना इधर में और आप खाएंगे फिर ठीक हो जाएगा. No, but what I'm saying is the attitude or the character of the cake is probably, and your character is probably why it's taken off, is because देखो भाई चीज़ यही है. आपको नहीं खानी है. 10 चीज़ें मार्केट में पड़ी हुई हैं. You know what I mean? So it's this, and it's absolutely just real stuff. And I said this in the vlog. It's just, it feels like I've had quite a few cakes, but I had that, and I was like, it's serious. It's not
unapologetic.
Not a joke.
So, and I think that's who I am as a person as well.
Yes.
If you look at the cake, and if you order a cake now, and maybe if you order 2 cakes at the same time, they both will look different. And because there is no there's a standard pan that I use and a standard size and a standard amount of batter that I put into it. But it's still very raw. Like, it's very handmade, so it won't be exactly the same. Sometimes the walls of the cake might be a little taller than the other one. Like, you will see that they're not identical. And that is what the no-nonsense cheesecake finds its glory in. Like, it's imperfect and it's unapologetic about it. And I've been told, like, I get feedback from people and whatnot, कि ये अभी पतला है, या you should make it more presentable. And sometimes I'm like, okay, should I? But then I'm like, no, that is exactly what my USP is, maybe. That it is purely human. Like, it's a very... it's made by humans, so it's extremely, like, raw.
Raw,
Like,
yeah.
And basic.
For everyone who doesn't know, USP, मैंने भी कल सीखा है, unique selling point. सही है ना?
Marketing jargons.
हाँ, marketing jargon हम तो हाँ. So बहरहाल, and see, that then segues for me at least into and this is going to get philosophical really quickly, but this is what I do all day, right? No, but this is what I do all day. So it segues very readily into the subcontinental culinary tradition, where it's not always going. It looks good to us because we know what it tastes like.
Yeah.
लेकिन कढ़ाई, in terms of presentation, ये मैं बिल्कुल एक crude मिसाल दे रहा हूँ, compared to like a steak. उसकी presentation इतनी अच्छी नहीं होती, but we know what it is.
We know, and we trust it to be good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's communication, and I feel like that's what you're doing with the cake. Is there's communication, like I made this for you.
Yeah.
Right? And it's also made to order. और 2-3 बड़े English loves होते हैं, वो अभी मुझे आ नहीं रहे.
हाँ.
यार वो एक होता है, B से होता है शायद.
Bespoke.
हाँ, bespoke. It's a bespoke cake. मैं तो नहीं, मैं तो हैदराबाद से. मैं तो नहीं है.
No, to be honest, my vocabulary isn't that great either. Very limited. बस accent है बस.
Accent सही है ना? Accent कहाँ से है?
हाँ, अच्छा. यार दरअसल सऊदी अरब की हूँ मैं, तो hence मेरा American/British/weird accent है.
Fair enough.
This is the most fun. This is something I've experienced in every school I have shifted to, or not every university, but the university I went to. The biggest, not problem, but something I would experience in every school would be people asking me, यार तुम्हारा accent कहाँ से आया? यार तुम ऐसे बात क्यों करती हो टेढ़े होके and whatnot, blah blah.
But most people in Karachi speak like this, no? Or most in our circle at least, more or less.
Yeah, they do. Exactly, right? So, but people just have this irritation कि ये ऐसे बात क्यों कर रही है? And then when I give them the answer, Saudi Arab, they're like, सऊदी से कहाँ से accent यार, मतलब अमेरिका की थोड़ी तुम हो या UK की थोड़ी हो, whatever. So then I have to explain I went to a British school over there. अच्छा British school तो फिर American accent क्यों? You know, it's just the problem with everything. They have an answer to everything. So I don't know. I've alhamdulillah been able to be extremely thick-skinned about it, and I'm just like, मैं क्या करूँ? Like, this is how I am.
No, this is how I speak.
This is how I speak. What do I do?
And I'm getting it across. And what's interesting is that then becomes the genesis of your cake.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it. You don't have to take it.
You don't. Like, if you want a customized fondant or like with toppings, fruit toppings, mangoes, people are giving like suggestions all the time के
mango डाल दो उसके ऊपर.
हाँ, because mango का season है. मैंने कहा यार आप डाल दें, because this is a headache I don't want to take up. This is purely meant to be like this. So a lot of people say, you need to diversify. You need to bring in the lotus cheesecake because everyone's into that. My husband keeps telling me, Zahra, I think it's about time you bring that. I'm like, I'm all about being the no-nonsense cheesecake. It is against my philosophy to bring in any other kind of nonsense to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how can I go against my own brand ethos?
Everything becomes
Marketing
nonsense
jargon.
then, yeah?
Exactly. Everything becomes nonsense, and that's what, no offense to all of the other competitors out there, but that's what they are selling, and you may go to them because that's what they provide. It's like asking very simply कि आप Zahra क्यों खरीदते हैं या H&M क्यों खरीदते हैं? You know, like why? There's a difference between
there
the
is a
two.
difference, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a preference.
Yes.
So I am for those people, those consumers who literally want the simpler things in life, want to go back to the basics, and who it's kind of like saying super का biscuit या bakery वाला biscuit, कौन सा आपको चाहिए?
And
so I am the bakery वाला biscuit.
And there's a market for both.
Exactly, there's a market for both. So I don't need to, and this is something very important to marketing, which I have learned over the years, that you cannot cater and you should not cater to everyone.
You shouldn't.
You should have your niche. You should have your positioning. You should have your space in the market. And that is what will keep you differentiated. And you will have your certain amount of customers, which you should just cater to.
Yes.
You don't need to cater to the world. If you start catering to everyone, then you kind of lose yourself.
Achha, yaar, dekho, that's very profound. I was reading a book by Ryan Holiday, Stillness is the Key.
Yeah.
Badi matlab full philosopher hai.
Okay.
Right? And
So you.
no, what do you mean?
Perfect for you.
No. But he speaks towards the end. He's like, yeah, dekho, one of the first things you need to do is amputate yourself from the outcome. That's not your problem.
Yeah.
The outcome isn't your problem.
Yeah.
And that's counterintuitive because everything's based on the outcome, na? मतलब अगर ये केक अच्छा नहीं होता तो हम ये गुफ्तगू नहीं कर रहे होते शायद. But his argument is कि देखो, you have to be 100% on your side, unconditionally, and you just have to do your work.
Yeah.
अगर आप outcome के बारे में सोचते रहोगे ना, जैसे for instance, this podcast was in the pipeline a year before I started, a year before I did my first episode. क्यों? यार अच्छा अभी वो स्टूडियो नहीं है, अच्छा यार अभी कैमरास नहीं
पहले
है,
ये सब चीजें
हाँ
करनी है,
अभी ये माइक नहीं है, and then there's no end to that because, and you know this through marketing, कि top of the line stuff, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
You know, and I would have never started. You know, अभी वो चंडीगढ़ रोड पे अगर एक मेरे पास बिल्डिंग होती, उसमें मैं स्टूडियो बनाता तो फिर कोई बात होती.
And that's the thing which people kind of misconstrue. They feel that they need this entire setup and this entire like packaging पहले से ही करनी है, मुझे अपने boxes की और ये वो, और मुझे पहले page बनाना है, I first need to have this many followers before I launch, blah blah. That is not necessary. And this is something I keep having to remind myself, is that maybe the reason why people come to me is because I am purely homemade. Pehle main apne, if you look, I think you are literally one of my very first few customers. If you look at the cake I gave you, and if you look at my cake now, your cake literally had uneven, frilly edges.
Yes.
It was extremely homemade.
Yes.
I have worked on that and tried to make my
Circles
circle
rounder and stuff.
smoother.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm like, maybe that's what they want. What you got, maybe that's what people want.
Yeah.
They want that homemade, unapologetic beauty, if you want to call it. They don't, because अगर आपको वो round circle beautiful वाला चाहिए, आप pie in the sky जा सकते हैं.
But yeah, exactly. That's not
अब ये
factory
सब-
produced, no?
Exactly.
Your cake isn't.
Exactly.
My brother, so when I got the cake, right, he's like, I'm like, oh, you have to pay, because I was at the office. I was like, you have to pay.
And also, I had given it to you in a silver.
Exactly.
With foil wale boxes होते हैं.
So I was like,
At that time.
and he's like, where is it coming from? Like, a friend, Zahra, she nicks her. She's a friend of mine, you know. She's like, then why are you paying her? You know what I mean, right? Because वो आया भी इस तरीके से था कि बाकायदा किसी दोस्त ने भेजा. I'm like, and you're paying? What kind of a friend is this? Like, I'll tell you later. And then subsequently we finished it in a day.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of this, but I am, but I'm not.
Yeah, I get it. Exactly.
अच्छा खासा वो इतना बड़ा केक था और वो.
So now I have just moved on to these brown boxes with a silver base underneath it, the way all of these other startups / bakeries are doing. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, I am actually slowly becoming them. And when you start becoming, I feel, when you start becoming more, beautifully packaged and whatnot, then you're kind of losing the whole homemade goodness की जो बात होती है ना, you're kind of losing it because people want कि आपके हाथों से इतनी
raw
क्या है? I can't use another word.
It's fine. That's the
इतनी
word.
raw चीज़ बन रही है. So I'm kind of in a
conundrum.
Yeah, conundrum over there.
No, but देखो, some of it is functionality, na.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking about podcasts and stuff. I did still invest in some things.
Yeah.
So there's a minimum
but the
standard.
fact that you made this, you just realized कि मैं अपने घर में ही कर सकता हूँ भाई. And you turned this into this this amazing setup.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
But same thing with your boxes, right? There is a minimum standard.
Yeah.
अब केक खराब नहीं होना चाहिए.
हाँ,
You don't want to ruin it.
exactly,
Like, you don't want it to be like, it's so raw कि आप खा ही नहीं सकते.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so raw, don't bother eating it. Just pay me my money.
Yeah.
But no, it's beautiful. And then the culinary tradition was profound for me, but also then the other thing. which is something I've been speaking to everyone about during this corona, is this lockdown, is people who did nothing wrong still had to find alternative, viable, financial solutions.
Yeah.
So how was that for you? Was it uncertain? And also, how is your family? Because from like you're doing what you're supposed to do. You have an office job.
Yeah.
Inshallah, you're going to be successful. And then all of a sudden, you're like, "Ab main cake banaungi."
Okay,
Or
so
ek cake.
I'll tell you. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
In my company, at least, I didn't. While I was going there, I didn't feel any kind of insecurity कि ये लोग मुझे निकाल देंगे या कुछ ऐसे blah blah. Alhamdulillah. But once quarantine started, एक महीना गुजर गया. I was fine and comfortable. Then when you start hearing news about people's salaries being cut and people losing their jobs and people being laid off, then it was really funny because I think by the second month of quarantine, I got a call from my HR.
Jeez.
And in that moment, I was just like, what is this news going to be? And she starts off with this entire spiel of, what's happening in the region. People are getting laid off and 30% people are getting laid off. And, you know how uncertain the situation is in the advertising industry. We're losing clients, et cetera, et cetera. And in that moment, I'm just like, okay,
just give it to me.
the point. So I literally said it to her. I'm very frank with her. I'm like, can you just get to the point, please? So she goes, so we've just decided to reduce your salary by 5%.
Jeez.
And I was like, thank you.
Why was that build up
No,
necessary?
but then I realized it was a very strategic build up on her end because it worked well.
Yeah,
I
because
didn't
you were
fight.
like, no, of
I
course
could have
not.
said, "Mujhe nahi, how can you reduce 5% of my salary, whatnot?" Because she had also in her build-up mentioned how people in the region are 20% unka cut raha hai. So in my head, I was like, if it's 20%, I will lose my shit. Sorry.
No, it's
She said 5%. So I was relieved. I was saying thank you to her. Thank you for your time. This is great. So that's what happened. So I was feeling insecure when I was hearing about all of these, different bits of news, etc. But then this happened, and I was okay with it. I was like 5%, chalo, it's the least. That could have happened. And then the cheesecake thing happened. The cheesecake thing happened not as a byproduct of insecurity or whatever. It was a byproduct of quarantine, sitting at home, having time on your hands. And just experimenting. So I'll just get into the history of the no-nonsense cheesecake, which my older sister will really appreciate because it's her recipe.
Oh, wow.
So my older sister lives in Germany and she's married and she is just in Germany. ठीक है? और उसने बहुत साल पहले एक cheesecake बनाया था, which was amazing. And it was so basic that it was literally the most shocking thing. When we tasted it, we were like, wow. So I asked her to send me over that recipe, and I said, I'm going to make it because I had time on my hands, and, you can now stay up till 3 a.m. and it's not a big deal because now you're at home.
Yeah.
So I was baking, and I made it, and my family tried it, and they absolutely loved it. I was like, wow, okay, this is great. Then I made it again, and I just wanted my friends to try it out because I was like, chalo dekhte hain, if it's not just my family, maybe let's see other people. And at that time, I still did not have any intention to kick this off.
No, of course.
I dropped off one slice to my boss and two of my other friends who lived close by. And I got an order instantly from one of my friends saying the cake was so amazing, my family wants to order one.
Wow.
And I have zero expertise / knowledge / education in business. मुझे कुछ नहीं पता business के बारे में, nothing about profit. I mean, I should know profit and loss. We did do accounting back in A levels, but कुछ नहीं पता. And she asked me how much do you want to charge it for? And I was like, okay, I have no idea how much I've put into this. I don't know the cost or anything. मैंने बस सारे ingredients उठा लिए ये वो. So I went and I bought all of the ingredients and I saw, okay, this is how much it costs. How much, I don't know, कितना profit आपको लेना चाहिए, right? Like, agar suppose your cost is 500, do I charge 1,000? Do I charge 800? Do I charge 600? I don't know. Kitna
There's so many different philosophies,
exactly.
right?
There's so many different options, right?
Yeah.
So I had to think about that. I contacted a few of my friends who have started their own businesses and blah blah. वो सब कह रहे हैं 300% profit तो ज़रूरी होता है, or there's no point otherwise and blah blah. I'm like, are you crazy? I have zero, like, who am I to just come into the market and just charge a 300% profit on my cheesecake and whatnot? So I was like, okay, ये कुछ ज़्यादा ही हो गया. And then I went with the flow and I charged whatever I did, right? And I gave it to them in that very raw format, etc., and that silver box and everything, and did really well. And then slowly they started posting it on their Instagram, ठीक है? And they put their natural reviews. So something I'm extremely passionate / what do you call? Very like
rigid
about is the importance of word of mouth. ठीक है? As a marketer, a marketeer, advertiser, it's kind of so advertising is all about promotion, right? कि आप जाके promote करें अपने product को and everything. Exposure, etc. The paradox or the oxymoron in this whole situation is I didn't want to take that route. I wanted the product to speak for itself. I didn't want to promote myself. Oh, buy this one cake. It is,
it's
you know,
the best.
It's the
she's my friend.
Yeah, it's the best. It's rich and creamy and blah blah. I didn't want to do that from my end because obviously ये तो मैं बोलूँगी. I tried to think of it from a different angle. I was like, what is another more effective way of selling your product? So if you hadn't noticed, I don't know if the box I gave you, I wrote, if you like it, talk about it.
That's it. Yeah.
And I gave the consumer the option to talk about it. I didn't say, please post this on your Instagram, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I said, if you like it, then talk about it. And it
doesn't no paid promotions.
No paid promotion. And that's when I feel the authenticity of people's word and their reviews is rewarding.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you don't force someone to post it and post your reviews and whatnot, people can tell. Ab sabko pata chal gaya ke paid reviews / forced reviews on KFD, people can tell wo kaun se hote hain, kaise
it's getting there where people are more knowledgeable about these things.
Yeah. I wanted people to do it on their own. Even if it's not through an Instagram post, it's amongst conversations with their friends. हाँ यार मैंने उस दिन try किया था एक cheesecake, it was damn good.
Yeah.
That's how I wanted people to be discussing it at a very candid,
authentic,
unseeded manner. And that's how it started happening. I would give out these boxes. Someone would put a picture of this box, post it up. People would ask them, dude, I'm seeing this everywhere on Instagram. Is it good? And then the natural response, I want them to tell them the truth. Even if it's bad, tell them it's bad. Because then your product, like if I'm promoting my product, I have more chance of getting more flack. Do you get it? Like if you are putting a product out there and you are promoting it yourself, you are building the hype yourself, and it doesn't reach that standard, do you get it?
I do understand, yes.
Then that's when you can get negative feedback. Do you get it? The hype wasn't worth it. Do you get it? Ye type of comments aate hain.
So you're basically, देखो, this is a very powerful thing what you did. What you did was, यार देखो, इस चीज में अगर दम है तो ये चलेगी.
खुद चलेगा.
और अगर नहीं चलेगी तो मतलब दम नहीं था.
दम नहीं है. Exactly.
That's fine.
Because my intention was never to start this business.
At all, yes.
Yeah, it was just, okay, if people are liking it, they will come to me themselves. My husband would constantly tell me, you should promote it more. Ye wo.
Achha, so he was completely in the favor.
Oh, of course. And he's been with me throughout this. Like, there was this time in the middle where I was like, I don't want to make cheesecakes anymore. I actually hate baking. Honestly, because I'm not passionate about baking. I don't want to do this anymore. And he goes, listen to me, you have an amazing product in front of you and it's actually really good.
You do, yeah.
And it is flying and you need to let it fly.
Just leave it alone, yeah.
हाँ, you अपनी तरह से तुम्हें थोड़ा effort डालना है. You need to repost your reviews. You need to repost those comments people message you personally. You need to repost them.
मतलब ये तो minimal काम है ज़ारा. मतलब ये भी नहीं करोगे तो फिर.
Exactly. You don't need to make these fancy Instagram posts and whatnot, blah blah. Because you need to do that because it's working, Zahra. So I did start to do that. Once again, not promoting. I was just reposting people's feedback.
Yeah, देखो, there's a line, na? आजकल, especially because of the rise of influencers and digital marketing, everyone is more or less a marketeer if they're willing to invest.
Invest, yeah.
And if they know the right people.
Yeah.
For instance, it's not funny. It is funny. My podcast, the highest viewed episode by a landslide is Hamza Ibrahim. Because Hamza Ibrahim already has a platform. Hamza Ibrahim is this famous YouTuber and he's big on Instagram. And he gave me one swipe up. आजकल swipe ups में बात होती है ना, आप swipe up दे दे मुझे. I didn't ask him to, but he's just like, oh, I'll do it. And we did a podcast.
Yeah.
So my second biggest podcast has like 1,200 views. And Hamza's has 30,000. तो आजकल तो ये चल रहा है ना पाकिस्तान में.
ये चल रहा है, exactly, where the right people are involved, the ones who are influential and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I have been a little, I've been a sellout is manner mein. There was this time when I wasn't taking orders and someone influential messaged and it was really embarrassing because to my husband, I had told him I'm taking a break. And this influential person messaged, I'm like, I'm thinking of making this person the cake. I think I'm going to do it.
I mean, you didn't do anything. It's not a sellout.
So I was a sellout is मामले में. And I mean, I'm human, guys. I can do it.
Dekho. We can reason this. Dekho, that order is worth more technically.
Yeah.
In terms of long term, I don't think that's being a sellout.
It is, dude. When you're on a break and you have told the world I'm not making cheesecakes, and then suddenly someone influential comes your way and says, oh, can I have a cheesecake? And you're like, sure.
I mean, they asked really nice, you know. They probably asked really nice. You're like, yeah, I'll make them a cake. But Behal, so your sister, are you giving her royalties or something?
So she is demanding for royalties, and I'm saying no.
You're saying no. Why are you saying no?
Obviously, kya royalty do? How do you even quantify royalty? Like how much? What? She's cracking jokes. It's not serious. Where she's like, you know, oh, give me 20% of your every cake. I'm like, are you mad? I am working my ass off for every cake I make, and I just send you while you're sitting in Germany.
20% is a lot, yeah. Per cake, it's a lot.
Per cake.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
But she's joking. She's not
obviously
serious.
She is.
Yeah.
But hypothetically.
Yeah.
हमारा भी podcast और किस चीज़ के बारे में बात करेंगे?
Yeah.
But we're just saying. But. What if you were to offer her like a lump sum amount, just buy it out?
No, what I would suggest to her is to start it off in Germany. It's such an amazing cake. And I have to tell you, by the way, this whole no-nonsense cheesecake ki philosophy even runs through the process of making it. I have ensured that the process of making this cake is also filled with no-nonsense.
Achha.
Like, it is basic, it is easy, it is instant, it is quick, it doesn't have that many ingredients, it doesn't have that many steps.
Actually, I'm being honest with you, I'm sorry, but as soon as you said it's also like in the process, I imagine you being in a really bad mood throughout the baking of this cake. I'm just no nonsense.
Yeah.
Stop talking to me.
Literally, people, Babar, my husband, used to help me out, sometimes he still does, in making the crust. Because I don't have the patience to make the crust. And he does an amazing job. Like, if you see his cake versus my cake, his sides are extremely neat and straight, and the circle is absolutely perfect. But he spends a lot of time on it. And I will finish mine in 7 minutes, 8 minutes. And when he's spending a lot of time, I'm like, do you not understand that the whole point of this cake is no nonsense? Stop spending more time on it. More time is more money, etc. It's meant to be an easy process. That's how I've made it for myself. You are wasting time.
It's nonsense.
Yeah, but he goes, no, but it has to be perfect, and blah, blah, blah. And I go, yaar.
We need to bring him on as well. He sounds like an amazing guy. But okay, that's awesome. That really is awesome. No, but and then I did want to talk about this. So it wasn't. Kya ho gaya yaar? Kya ho gaya? It wasn't. It didn't come out of your need for financial.
No, it was very.
It just happened like this.
It just happened, alhamdulillah, which is why I feel, because of the fact that it just happened, I have less expectations from it, which is why I have maintained more happiness as opposed to stress. Like, do you get it? When you have a plan to execute a business, you are more stressed out because you have a plan, you have certain goals. कि आपको ये चाहिए, blah blah. My thing was कि बस हो रहा है. और अगर orders आ रहे हैं, great. अगर नहीं आ रहे, it's not an issue. मतलब I'm still
yeah, you're still gonna make the cake for yourself and your
for
family and stuff.
myself or my family or
Yeah,
whatever. So it wasn't a planned business
At all.
At all.
But so your husband was completely for it. What about your like family?
My family, so my parents were extreme. So I've been using their kitchen. I've been using.
Wonderful. You need to pay these people.
Yeah,
you know,
by the
your
way,
sister
because
and
my
your
dad
parents.
has slowly started to nudge me, saying, "Beta, ये जो gas का bill है ना, जो तुम oven 10 घंटे on रखा हुआ होता है, ये gas का bill है."
ये bill है.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, वैसे he is right. Who am I to just come and start baking, starting my business?
Because your costing is brilliant. No, you have no except the ingredients.
Yeah.
You don't have any costs.
I don't have any investments. I have an oven at home. I have the mixer, everything,
Mashallah.
you know. No investments. I'm using their fridge and deep freezer. So I'm just literally using all of their resources.
You need to pay them something. Matlab,
Yeah,
you
but
make them free cakes.
Yeah, so I do that. So
Okay.
I always make them जब leftover batter or biscuits होते
ठीक है,
हैं
वो
ये
बोलने की
सब-
जरूरत नहीं थी.
हाँ, तो वो मैं उनके लिए cakes बना लेती हूँ and they're absolutely happy with that.
Yeah.
So
You're
they've
paying
been
them in
really
cakes. Yeah.
supportive.
Yeah.
Also because so I live on Share Faisal
Wow.
with my husband.
Acha.
Yeah, and my parents' house is here in Phase 8.
Is Shara Faisal still drowned because of the rain?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm hearing that
It's not good.
It's bad. Oh, one side of it is pretty bad.
They can probably hear it on the podcast कि यहाँ पे भी अभी electricity नहीं है.
Huh. Acha, it's gonna be beeping.
हाँ, I mean, I hope it stops
Okay.
eventually. Allah करेगा.
It's okay. This is Pakistan. Dude.
It is.
Like,
They
obviously,
need
if
to
you
know
don't
this.
have these sounds happening, then what are we even authentic?
No, we're not authentic.
Are we
We're
going
not
through
raw.
the authentic experience or not?
Absolutely not. सही बात है.
So my parents actually never had an issue with me making cheesecakes because I would essentially be coming home, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
my presence and me being home,
Obviously.
you know, would obviously.
And you have
keep
siblings
them
living there
happy.
that can't wait to see you, obviously.
They hate it.
I know, I'm being
They
sarcastic.
literally say, "Why are you here
ये क्यों आ
again?
गई वापस?
Why don't you make this in your own house?" And I can make it in my own house, but the problem is my market is defense. So I have to come and make it in Phase 8.
Fair enough. And deliveries कैसे हो रही हैं अभी?
Deliveries मैं नहीं कर रही.
अच्छा, and do you plan on?
So no nonsense.
Okay.
Once again, come pick it up.
If you want it, you can get it.
Yeah, if you want to come and get
Jeez,
it.
dude.
I'm only doing deliveries for special customers who live abroad and want to deliver a cake to a loved one in Pakistan. Not Pakistan, Karachi.
अच्छा, wow.
So I have a lot of people who have reached out to me saying, you know, I'll transfer you the money and can you get this delivered to my mother or to my in-laws or to my friend or whatnot. And I'm willing to do that for them. I obviously charge a little extra. And I'm, by the way, personally delivering these cakes. I cannot afford to send them through a bike
अच्छा,
or
नहीं,
a
देखो,
rider. I'm very against that because my cake is very fragile.
Afford is मतलब I was gonna say
No,
you
I
can
don't mean
have-
money-wise. I mean for the cake.
सही
It's a very fragile cake.
Dude, this is so profound. I hope you never change.
I hope
I hope
so.
you never change this because you can stand to make a lot more money, I'm sure, if you change. But
yeah,
then
like
you
I
can lose
can
it.
become more commercialized and
Food
make
Panda
on
wala
a
system,
mass. Exactly. I cannot.
No.
And you're right. I actually do hope I continue to stay the same
yeah.
because obviously expansion and whatnot is very luring and you know it's obviously great. Why not? But I personally don't want to.
Yeah, देखो
yet.
एक psychology में एक लफ्ज होता है congruence.
Okay.
Right? So एक चीज होती है where you're visible, right? You're transparent with each other. Congruence is when even your intentions are transparent.
Yeah.
Right? So I think this business model of yours is very congruent. It's very
Yeah.
like, अच्छा देखो, I'm gonna make this cake
Yeah.
हाथ से.
Huh.
I'm gonna come bring it to you
Yeah.
हाथ से.
Hot.
Right? And yeah, but you're not gonna expect me to change it.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna put mangoes on it.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
gonna
put
do all those
mangoes
things.
on it.
But okay. In terms of and I've been trying, agar aap notice karo, to segue into speaking about conventional roles for women.
Yeah.
And
I'm so happy.
I'm
you
trying,
touched
but you're not
upon
letting me.
this
You're just like,
topic.
नहीं, इसका financial का मसला ही नहीं है इसका. ये मैंने ऐसे ही मेरा mood दिल चाह रहा था मेरा. But so see, generally पहली बात तो वैसे एक unconventional चीज़ है, आप केक बना के बेच रहे हैं, सही है ना? उसके ऊपर से you're a girl who's doing it.
Yeah.
Guys are encouraged to start businesses. Girls
Yeah.
are usually, if
No,
they're
but
allowed to
the
work.
trend, but the trend for startups by women, especially in baking / cooking, is huge.
Because it's a subculture, na? Because women are like, yaar, dekho, what the shit, dude? Like, I mean, how long? How much longer? It's 2020. How much longer are you going to tell us how to be and what to do and all those things?
That's still happening though.
Obviously it is. But मेरे जैसे लोग भी तो बैठे हुए हैं.
What the hell?
I'm
Kya
kidding.
matlab,
I'm
Kazi?
joking. I'm joking.
I don't know if you're joking.
I'm not. I'm not joking at all.
I feel like you're not.
I'm not kidding.
Okay.
No, but like I love a spat as much as the next person. Like, you know, full uber feminism
It's
वगैरह.
freezing here.
Is it? You want me to?
Freezing.
अच्छा ये पता है
I'm
ये
really shivering inside.
दो चीजें. एक I'm fat and two ये जो cameras है ना, they need to be cooled. नहीं तो बंद हो जाती हैं.
What?
Drum buzz.
So what have you done? Have you?
I've
What?
made it a little warmer.
Okay, fine. 24 पे डाल दो यार.
नहीं.
Please यार.
नहीं 20 पे था 22 ठीक.
Fine.
24 पे.
Okay.
It's funny that you asked me. मैं मतलब और नीचे कर देता. सर्दी लग रही है ना?
Are you mad?
I'm just saying. That's why you asked me. But I love a spat as much as the next person. When वो full uber feminists आ जाते हैं, all men are pigs. ठीक है? Philosophically speaking, that's an illogical, non-cogent statement to make.
Acha, this is fine.
हाँ ठीक है ना.
Okay.
But the thing is, people misconstrue that as कि हाँ ये सब लड़कियां जो हैं औकात से ज़्यादा. मैंने बोला नहीं. I'm not on your side. I'm not stupid. You know, like women empowerment is absolutely essential.
Of course.
ये तो मैं ऐसे ही मैं बोर होता हूँ तो मैं ट्विटर
नहीं.
पे. हाँ क्या?
बोर होते भी ऐसे मजाक नहीं.
नहीं. But they're saying all men are pigs. I'm a man. I don't feel like a pig to myself ना. ऐसे. And it's an incongruent statement to make, philosophically. But having said that, that's the kind of dimension I wanted to take this conversation into. So absolutely following conventions. It's a desk job, right? Steady, big company.
But that's also not following convention for women. Do you get it? Having a desk job.
You're right.
In Pakistan especially.
You're right. So you're already, mashallah.
For married women.
You're already kind of privileged, mashallah. So you're right.
Alhamdulillah.
But then, okay, yeah. But and then still breaking convention and going there. How?
By the way, I think it's the opposite. I don't think baking and doing baking/cooking businesses that women are doing, I don't think that's breaking convention. It's actually...
It's the opposite. You went from less non-conventional to more conventional.
Not more conventional. I mean, it's amazing that they have been able to turn it into a business. The convention is, right, that women
shouldn't work at all.
Shouldn't work at all and are meant to be in the kitchen, and their role is
domestic
and that's the convention.
Yeah.
What the good side to it, not the good side to the convention, but what they have turned that into is turning it into a business and being able to become more financially independent, which is amazing.
That's the crux of it, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that's amazing. That, okay, fine. Meri reality ye hai ke I have spent my time baking / making really good food, cooking, whatnot. And some people like it, and that's absolutely fine. Some people like it, some people are forced to do it, etc. But the great thing is that out of this reality of theirs, they have been able to monetize it. Which is amazing.
Because they're going to... Sometimes लोगों को ये महसूस होता है कि if you start speaking about money, you're making something cheap. You're making something trivial or frivolous.
Yeah.
But it's the opposite. Empowerment cannot come without financial agency.
Of course.
It's impossible for that to happen. Yeah. You need to... Financial agency is as essential to women empowerment as women are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was something I was feeling कि यार अब ठीक हो गया. That was something I was feeling कि then that's an interesting point. You actually went back to the kitchen.
Back to the kitchen and monetized it.
And monetized it, mashallah.
Yeah.
That's
Some people have the passion to bake and to make nice dishes, you know, and to be able to monetize it, that's amazing. Some people didn't have the passion but were made to do it. We're still able to monetize it. That's also finding the good in the bad situation that you are in, you know.
Fair enough. But so you're not passionate, say, about baking, but you are passionate about projecting this no-nonsense attitude.
You know what I'm actually passionate about, and I was telling Babar this, that for me, this whole project is more about... So I've been in advertising, ठीक है? And I'm in strategy. So strategy in advertising is all about understanding the consumer and understanding what the consumer wants.
Market research, all those things.
Market research, I don't like using the word market research because it just ends up being, oh, मैं market research पे गया हूँ और मैं सारे like you know किरियाना store ये सब देख रहा हूँ. No, it's more about the consumer. Market research तो फिर आपके सारे retailer shops and ये सब हो जाते हैं, right? And you're just seeing कि आपकी सारी placements कैसी हैं आपके product की whatnot. What I mean by consumer research तो है, yes, consumer understanding, consumer behavior understanding is about getting to know people, what they want, what triggers them, what gets them influenced, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what kind of a statement appeals to them, you know, whatnot. So for me, this whole project is more about how I'm being effective in projecting my product.
That's profound.
So that is the whole no-nonsense cheesecake की जो positioning है and whatnot, and how and what I am more passionate about is मैं इसकी image कैसे दिखा रही हूँ consumer को. Consumer क्या चीज़, what is the consumer looking for that I am being able to tap into. So the consumer is surrounded by all of these bakeries and you know, really fancy cakes and whatnot, but kabhi kabhar sometimes the consumer craves for that simple,
Authenticity,
authentic, homemade goodness.
That's profound.
And that is what I want to reach out to.
So then going back to the philosophy of the culinary tradition in the subcontinent, you want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
आप एक गुफ्तगू करना चाह रहे हो. You're like, you know, like, so what are you about really? Sure, pie in the sky is great. And by the way, I love pie in the sky.
I know.
We're not shitting on it.
Everyone keeps comparing my cake to the pie in the sky one and like, oh, pie in the sky is for this much. Why is yours more expensive? And pie in the yours is actually better than pie in the sky. I was like, damn, I need to try pie in the sky's cake because it's an unsung hero, at least in my mind.
Yeah.
So they keep comparing it. मेरी थोड़ी हटती है obviously सुन के.
Well, it's a bespoke cake, right? It's
I
like getting a suit off the rack.
Yeah.
And then comparing it to like a custom suit. It doesn't make sense. It's not really the same thing.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just like a little,
Like जैसे अहमद बाम को अगर मैं बोलूँ कि वो Zahra वाला सूट भी आप जैसा ही है, Zahra the company, not
Exactly.
you. Why would they just be like, yeah.
मैंने क्या किया? You know, that the whole point of this was, you know, to be differentiated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We were also speaking about, alhamdulillah, your mom. She's now finally a Pakistani.
Yeah.
She's 2 years ago. She's finally
2-3 years ago. Actually, I don't remember the exact date, but
that's wonderful.
So my mom has always been an Indian.
Okay.
And so we used to live in Saudi Arabia, and so she never felt the need to become a Pakistani at that time. Also, ab Saudi mein reh ke ab kaise Pakistani ban sakte hain? Till we shifted to Pakistan in 2005.
Yeah.
And that's when we started the process of turning my mom into a Pakistani from an Indian.
Like a citizenship process.
Citizenship, passport, nationality, sab kuch. So it's really funny. So I've been to India a lot of times, and we would need a visa for every city.
Obviously.
And it sounds extremely ridiculous, but both Pakistan and India have done this to each other. कि आपको हर city के लिए visa चाहिए होता है.
So your mom can't go to say Hyderabad or Lahore. She can go to Hyderabad. She go to Hyderabad. She's in Sindh. From Karachi to Hyderabad.
I feel like she couldn't. I mean, we haven't gone to Hyderabad ever, but like if she had to, I think it would be illegal, by the way, because I remember when we would go to India, we would have a visa for Delhi, but going to Agra, which is literally next door, would be illegal. We can't go to Agra. You need a visa for Agra. And I think you would need a visa for Hyderabad as well as an Indian.
Yeah, and so if Hyderabad's out, then Lahore, Islamabad,
and everything. So my
impossible.
mom was unable to attend my graduation in Lahore because she was an Indian.
but you're Pakistani.
I'm Pakistani, yeah. Everyone in my family is Pakistani except for my mom.
That's interesting.
So she started the process of becoming a Pakistani in 2005, and I think it took about 10 to 11 years to become one, and she finally did.
Alhamdulillah. It's just, that's like, this is news to me, and I feel like I don't know you anymore. Like, well, why are you on my podcast? Like, I know you more now, but because we were speaking about this before, and I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How do I not know this?
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I suppose, but like but she's happy about this now.
It's funny. She's become very patriotic about Pakistan. I mean, she obviously feels sad that she lost her Indian passport because her mother is in India.
And she was born there as well.
She was born there,
Yeah.
so her mother is in India. So having an Indian passport would mean I can just fly to India. She could just fly to India without going through the visa process, right?
But
But now
you,
that she's
yeah.
Pakistani, she has to apply for the Indian visa.
You can't
and
hold
go
both?
No, you can. Are you crazy? How can you have a Pakistani and an Indian passport? That's
Acha, sorry, matlab,
messed up.
it's an uneducated
You
question.
can't
I
do. You
apologize.
can't. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have a few passports. आपको तो पता है.
हाँ, मुझे नहीं पता. Canadian है?
हाँ.
और?
Pakistani.
और? बस? At least you have the Canadian passport, man.
Alhamdulillah. No, but we worked hard for that. So, you know how your mom, we didn't spend 12 years, but we spent like,
4 years. I think it takes 4 or 5.
no, but the whole process took like 9.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's where we, after Nixa,
Yeah, I was just going to ask, after next year you went to Canada?
Malaysia.
तो then Canada का कैसे हुआ?
I went to Malaysia. We had already applied for Canada
Oh.
पढ़ाई के लिए.
Was it PR?
For Canada?
Yeah.
हाँ, PR.
Okay.
PR and citizenship. Yeah. But, yeah, went to Malaysia. Wonderful time there. Have you ever been to Malaysia?
I have. Oh my God, it's so interesting that you asked me this. I went there for 2 days, 3 days. Listen.
हाँ.
Listen.
नहीं मैं सुन रहा हूँ. मैं तो सुन रहा हूँ.
3 years ago, basically a year before I got married, I had this instant ambition कि मुझे बाहर काम करना है.
ठीक है.
मुझे मुल्क के बाहर काम करना है.
ठीक है.
And I managed to get myself an interview in Malaysia with an advertising agency, and they paid for my trip and my hotel, and I just went for 3 days to Malaysia and gave the interview, spent 2 days extra because why not?
Why not?
And came back.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country. But did the thing pan out?
It did, but I ended up saying no to them. So they gave me the offer,
Yeah.
but I said no to them because I ended up getting a job in Bangkok.
And so you
which
went to
I
Bangkok.
accepted, and I went to Bangkok instead.
तो आप full international हैं मतलब. आप पैदा सऊदी अरेबिया में हुई थी, and then you worked in Bangkok. That's
I
cool.
worked in Bangkok for almost a year, like 10 months, and it was amazing.
Mashallah. But so it was always marketing. This is what you were going to do.
Surprising. So my dad has been in marketing when he was in Saudi Arabia. He
Wow,
was in trade
mashallah.
marketing.
Mashallah.
My brother is a marketeer.
Mashallah.
Working for this pharmaceutical in Saudi Arabia as well, by the way. Eli Lilly. And then I guess I just always saw the two elder people in my family into that. So I was like, मुझे भी marketing में जाना है. So I always just had that inclination towards it. In the end, I was exposed to advertising and advertising strategy at a very young age. Like I had my first internship at JWT, where I currently work now as well, in strategy. And so I was exposed to it at a very young age. So I knew, alhamdulillah, from a very young age that this is what I want to do.
That's
and
profound,
I
yeah.
stuck to it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I have been doing this since 2014.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's also interesting कि your inspiration came from your patriarchs.
Yeah.
Your brother and your father, and also
Yeah.
है ना? And also like, did they ever try to convince you otherwise? They were like, नहीं ये नहीं करो, लड़कियों के लिए नहीं होता.
No. Okay, so when I got into advertising, my dad would sometimes say, media है ये, media में लड़कियां नहीं काम करती.
मतलब हाँ.
Yeah,
That's
they
the,
would think media में people have this negative connotation when it comes to media and ladkiyan. So my dad would be a little hesitant about
He's
it.
concerned.
But I told him I was working at JWT, which is a very nice environment, very safe environment,
Mashallah.
etc.
Yeah.
So I would have to explain to him and convince him. And I have faced this a lot, by the way, about the whole ladkiyan nahi jati hain. When it came to LUMS, so many people tried to convince my dad कि अपनी बेटी को लम्स नहीं
एक तो ये
भेजना.
दूसरे लोग जो होते हैं ना कहाँ से आ जाते हैं भाई?
By the way, yeah, like his friends, family relatives, whatnot, लड़कियों को लम्स नहीं भेजना, वहाँ drugs और alcohol होता है.
और कुछ नहीं होता वहाँ पे. इतनी बड़ी बिल्डिंग है, सिर्फ drugs और alcohol होता
Drugs
है.
or alcohol, मतलब it's
कोई किताबें
not the
शिताबें
best
तो नहीं होंगी वहाँ पे.
university in Pakistan for a reason, but yeah, drugs and alcohol
सिर्फ
मत
वही होता
भेजना.
है. हाँ, ठीक है.
But alhamdulillah, my dad did not sway, and he sent
Alhamdulillah,
me there.
mashallah.
That's the first time it happened. Second time it happened was when I was entering advertising. कि media में मत जाना. I still went because I knew कि इसमें कोई
No, these are देखो, these are stigmas
Yeah.
and these are stereotypes, and sure they're there for a reason. होता है, गंद होता है, गंद तो हर जगह होता है ना, लेकिन कौन सा ऐसा सेक्टर है आप मुझे बताओ जहाँ पे women are not,
harassment और ये सब, ये तो हर literally every single हर जगह होता
अब
है.
तो schools में से निकल रहा है, अल्लाह माफ
Yeah.
करे, they don't even wait for these girls to get like बस अल्लाह माफ करे, लेकिन वो
And
है
the
ना,
third time this happened was when I was going to Bangkok. क्या अपनी बेटी को Bangkok कौन भेजता है?
your dad's a legend then, I think,
People-
huh?
yes.
He's just like
It was my dad, I would really like to give it to him that
Yeah.
he never took in any kind of, I mean, maybe he did, but he never, his
Put it
final
on you.
decision
Yeah.
was not to stop me from it.
that's
And I
that's
really
profound,
do
yeah.
want to appreciate him for that because he has supported me
But
in
I-
these big decisions.
I think pivotal to empowerment then is that ना कि मतलब आपके वालिदैन दोनों, your mom obviously, but also your father being like, यार देखो, it's my daughter, right? It's between me and her,
Yeah.
and we're gonna weigh the pros and we're gonna
Yeah.
weigh the cons,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna let nonsense.
Yeah.
We're not gonna let nonsense affect
Nonsense.
affect this decision. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That really is. So okay, but you knew advertisement, and then you were working in Bangkok, and then now
And now I'm back at the same place that I left,
JWT.
JWT. Yeah.
That's powerful. That's wonderful.
And yeah, it's just been pretty. I want to say that I have been very lucky in knowing what I wanted to do,
Yes.
because
yes,
I
yes,
know
yes.
so many people who are still confused.
So I'm
like,
confused,
Yeah,
yeah.
people are still confused, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
nothing
of course
wrong,
not, no.
obviously. But I didn't. Even though I'm not doing the same, so like I said, I was influenced and inspired by my dad and my brother, but I'm not doing what they do. They're in like traditional marketing roles. I'm in advertising. I'm in
So you're in
strategy.
strategy and content creation.
Not content creation.
Strategy.
Which
Okay.
is I'm at the back end of advertising. So like
सही.
आपका जो इश्तिहार निकलता है, उसकी जो back end पे जो हो रहा है ना, the research and understanding the consumer and what kind of messaging
सही.
you want to give to the consumer,
सही,
that's
सही,
me.
सही.
I give that to the content creators. They're
Fair
called
enough.
creatives.
Fair enough.
And
Creatives. They're just called creatives.
they're called creatives.
Fair enough.
And they then, see, acha, Zahra has explained to us that this is what the consumer wants, this is what they're like, these are how they are as people, this is how you should talk to them, these are the kind of messages you should have, these are the kind of imagery and, video content that they like. So with that knowledge, then they will make the creative execution, which you will see out there.
That sounds like a wonderful job.
I'll give you an example, one of my favorite examples.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so you know about Tarang?
I do know about Tarang. It's a great, it's a very catchy song.
Yes, catchy song, right?
Tarang,
Okay, so I've heard a lot of negative feedback. कि ये तरंग क्या है? ये गाना गा के ये चाय कौन पिएगा and blah blah blah. And then I just look at them. I tell them this product is not for you.
No.
Yeah, जो तुम यहाँ बैठ के मजाक उड़ा रहे हो, it's not for you.
Yeah.
It is for the masses.
Yes.
Who find their escape in music, in TV, in Nach Gana. And also, what is an escape? Tea is an escape. When a housewife is having her tea time moment in her house,
That's a break for her.
it is her break. It is when her husband is out at work, her children are at school, and this is her sukoon time to have her chai, right? And that is her escape. What does she want to do in this escape? She wants to put on the TV, watch some kind of Bollywood or some kind of Lollywood or, like Naach Gana, a world which she is not that, a world that she does not have access to but wants to escape to. So when you see Tarang ka Gana and the Nach Gana and the music and the colors and everything, Tarang brings you that escape.
That's profound. That's very
Yes.
powerful. That's good.
So
yeah.
all of this thought process and, consumer understanding happens at the strategic end. And then जो execution हुई है
वो creatives करते हैं.
तरंग की, वो creatives करते हैं. जो creative ने आके बोला अच्छा इसमें what's his name, Shan को लाओ, Shan the actor,
Yeah.
because the masses love Shan, so
Yeah.
put him in this.
Yeah.
तरंग का गाना जो है, make it like this because it's catchy, it's a really nice jingle, the tin 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 tin.
Yeah, I like it. मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ, it's good.
It's extremely the recall of it is so brilliant.
Yes.
कि अगर मैं ये Ghana, if I just play this tune, everyone will be able to tell ye tarang ka hai. So, you know, like that's what happens at our end, the
See,
strategic
you know how you were like, people are like, you know, ye kis qisam ka gana hai? Allah khair kare.
Well, we have this salt lamp that's working.
Yeah, it's working, but I don't think the camera's going to catch it.
I think the camera can just see the salt lamp.
Yeah, but they can still hear us talk. ये अभी तक चल रहा है बेचारा, इसकी अभी तक आवाज निकल रही है. नहीं,
Does this mean the light's back?
No, this means the generator's gone.
Oh, really?
That's what that means. But at least you won't be cold now.
Yeah. Oh, no. Spoke too soon.
No, this is a good thing.
Why? I want the AC off. I'm joking.
No.
So, yeah.
हाँ नहीं cameras बंद हो जाएंगी. तो अच्छा बहल. So you know how you were like कि ये जो लोग होते हैं, they keep telling you these things. I think what's very profound and what's very interesting is us as a culture, at least हमारा जो upper middle class है, which we belong to, हम लोग जो है ना, we are incredible, or we behave like we're incredibly entitled.
Yeah.
Like everything needs to make sense to us, and that's the
You
same
need to
thing.
realize कि ये ad किससे बात कर रहा है.
Ji, and you need to be like, okay, if it doesn't make sense to me, Zahra's decision to go to Bangkok doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't mean it's the wrong decision for her.
Who are you?
You know, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I feel the same. That was my impetus for starting the podcast, and that's what I feel generally. Ki we want everything to be bite-sized and palatable.
Yeah.
हम TV shows देखते हैं, news shows वगैरह, everything. We're just like, this guy is speaking absolute nonsense. Why? Because it doesn't make sense to you. He's a leader or a politician for a reason.
Yeah.
He convinced so many people
exactly
to get there.
Yeah.
तो वो मुझे बड़ा feel होता है कि generally we walk around with very little understanding and a lot of entitlement कि यार ये same thing with the cake. Why doesn't she do it the way I'm telling her?
Yeah.
She must have a reason.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I try my hardest not to say this ever on my Instagram or whatever. Ke, if you don't like it, it's not for you. Like, but I mean it. Like, if you don't like it, then
Yeah, I think Zahra. I think even if you said it, even if
No,
you
I
don't
don't
say it,
wanna
it's
say.
but it's
you gotta
inherent.
be careful and politically correct on these things.
But it's inherent to your packaging and your marketing कि ये ऐसा ही है.
ऐसा ही है, it's
कि यार देखो अब मैं
basic.
change तो कर नहीं रही हूँ, ठीक है ना? तो अब आपको अगर नहीं खाना है. You know what? That was my review about the cake was this. It was twofold. A, it's amazing. मतलब raw ingredients are absolutely like I can taste what she put in it. Like it's actual serious stuff,
Yeah.
right? But then also I was like, you have to be careful with this though. This is not like normal cake के आप 2-3 piece खा जाते हैं. It's fluff, it's cream and stuff. And again, I'm not bad mouthing anyone.
Yeah.
Those cakes sell out because they're for people who consume them and want to. But your cake, it's heavier. So I can't be like,
Which
okay,
is really funny that you say this because I have like 40% of my consumer base say that it is rich and heavy. Then 60% literally come back saying, I loved it. It was so light.
अगर वो आधा पीस खाएंगे तो
नहीं,
पूरा पीस
they literally their biggest comment, and it's a positive comment, but it confuses me.
yeah. How is this
भाई,
happening?
ये
नहीं मैं ये तो बोल रहा हूँ
light है या heavy है? Is this a rich?
अच्छा अब देखो I will there is a caveat in my review कि मैंने जो है कोई 6 पीस खाए थे लेकिन उसके बाद I had to take a nap.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm not going anywhere after this. Like I came back from work, had the game. I was like, alright.
Yeah.
Even in the vlog, like I had to do a lot of recording. और फिर मैंने वही बात नहीं करूँगा.
The thing it is pretty addictive, the cake, because and the thing is, it's a very thin cake. It's not like your average thick
No,
New
it's not.
York
No,
cheesecake.
no.
It's a very thin cake.
Yes.
And once again, I get feedback. You should make it thicker. I want to tell them the thicker cakes exist.
अब जाके ले लो.
Go to them. This is meant for the people who want the thinner, that don't want to have that heavy feeling
but
afterwards.
it is what it is. Na. I suppose at the end of the day, this is what you're trying to say. आपने AC को नजर मार दिया अभी नहीं चल रहा है. नहीं तो but I suppose at the end of the day, what you're trying to say is, bhai, this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not anything else, and it's not going to change.
Yeah.
And I think that's in and of itself. Now we've been talking about this cake for I think close to an hour, but I think that's powerful. I think that's a powerful messaging. Or I suppose let's end it on that.
Sure.
Unless you want to talk about anything else.
No.
No. No?
The problem is when it comes to podcasts, I just don't have the patience to listen to them.
You won't listen
Generally,
to this. I
no.
hope other
No,
people
I'm
will.
just saying it's so funny for me to be a part of a podcast for people because I can't listen for so long, and then here I have people having to listen to my shit for
No,
so
but I mean,
long.
yeah, is वक्त तक I don't know if anyone's going to listen. Plus,
They
वो
are.
peep peep जो, that kind of like it upsets me.
Oh, why, dude? That's what I'm saying. This is the experience. This is the real experience.
तो real experience फिर यहाँ पे सोफे भी नहीं होने चाहिए.
Yeah, ज़मीन पे
You
बैठो
just
भाई.
squat and
हाँ?
talk और ज़रा.
Why not?
केक बना रही है आजकल आप मैंने
हाँ.
सुना है. But yeah, please mention your Instagram. You only have Instagram.
Yeah, so for the cheesecake, okay, so okay, fine, I'll talk a little more.
Yeah.
So my husband is also really into making things. So he's he's obsessed to the extent where I'm sick and tired of it.
What?
He's obsessed with pizzas.
Oh my goodness.
He's absolutely obsessed. Like sometimes he'll just tell me that I'm making pizzas today, and I'm just like, really?
बाबर भाई कब खिला रहे हैं? हमें कब खिला रहे हैं? This is
So he's so obsessed that he's always had this dream of getting this I call it a Pizza Hut, which I shouldn't call it, the brick oven.
It's a brick oven.
It's a brick
You
oven.
call it a Pizza
I
Hut.
call it a Pizza Hut because it looks like a hut.
Oh, fair enough.
So he got a brick oven made in our house.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's been really
This guy's serious.
experimenting with it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So he hasn't started off with the intention of starting a business. It's literally something he is actually passionate about it.
Yeah.
So he's making pizzas, and he makes really good what do you call, burgers, and croissants and omelets. He's really into eggs and
तो फिर मतलब ये इनका काम, लेकिन this is not what he does for work.
no, he doesn't. So he works at HBL.
Yeah,
He
bhai,
has a corporate job.
Yeah, उसको बोलो मतलब what are you waiting for? If you love all this stuff and you can make it.
Yeah. So it's
now's
right
the
now
time.
it's not like we haven't started with the intention of a business yet.
Oh,
like
no,
right
yeah.
now it's just what's ka shauk hai aur wo kar raha hai.
Yeah.
So when we thought, and I was making cheesecake, so when we thought about making our page, ek to I could have made a page separately on cheesecakes, and if he had to
could have.
kick it off,
Yeah.
he would make his page about pizzas. But then we thought, what is the common factor between pizzas and cheesecakes?
Cheese.
Is that they both have cheese. So we were like, yaar, hum kya naam rakhein? And we thought of so many names, and then we would go on Instagram to type that name to see if it exists, and every name was taken. Every single name was taken.
Sorry.
So suddenly I just tried, if you like cheese, right? Because we are for those people who like cheese. If you
Yes.
like cheese, come to us.
Yes.
So हमने जाके check किया, and it wasn't taken. So
Oh, wow.
this happened 2 months before we even launched the page. We quickly made the account before anyone else takes it,
Okay.
and it was just there.
Okay.
Then when we started to promote the cheesecake, that's when we started using the account.
So
And
it's if you like cheese.
if you like cheese, yeah.
And I suppose they'll find it. Yeah.
They'll find it.
Yeah.
And also, so right now we are just selling cheesecakes.
Yeah.
The no-nonsense cheesecake, no other cheesecake. People ask me, what's on your menu? What kind of cheesecakes do you have? I'm like, we
Ek hi.
just have the no-nonsense cheesecake. And when we say no-nonsense, we mean no
No nonsense. Meaning we won't take your shit.
So, उसमें हमने लगाई हुई है तस्वीरें of like pizzas and omelets and stuff which Babar makes, but they're not for sale right now. They are just, it's just a blog of sorts. You know,
that's
it's a
fine.
blog which is also selling cheesecakes for
That's
now.
That's it.
Eventually, if Babar decides to, you know, take it forward.
I really hope he does.
Yeah.
Now that you've marketed him like this, I really hope he does.
Yeah.
And then I can get free samples.
There's a specific
Okay.
there's a specific kind of pizza that he wants to do, which is the authentic Italian pizza with the really thick, not like the really puffy
Crust and then the
crust,
thin insides.
exactly.
Yeah.
जो सिर्फ अभी पोमो करता है,
I've never had it
and this
here.
new Italia pizzeria, they do it, and I've heard really good reviews about it. So not many people make this pizza.
I've not had it here. I've had it by
बाहर, हाँ. तो
Foreign
yeah. The Babar likes to make those. That's what he's passionate about.
awesome.
Yeah. So he's been working really hard. Like he spends so much time making the dough and the toppings.
You
and
clearly
the
don't
cheese.
have any patience for this.
Yeah.
No,
I
that's
love
awesome.
it.
Yeah, of course. So okay, if you like cheese,
Yep.
And would you like to give them your personal Instagram? No.
No.
And Babar ka bhi personally?
Nay.
Nahi. Acha bhai,
Possessive wife.
no. All right. So order the cheesecake. Eat
No
the
nonsense cheesecake.
No nonsense cheesecake. Because there's no other kind.
Yes.
Or koi hai nahi. And eat the cheesecake.
Yeah.
And take a nap. Definitely don't drive after. Don't drive after.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
Sure.
Zahra Khan, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
We'll do this again soon, inshallah. Jab
Inshallah.
barish warish nahi ho rahi hogi.
Done.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.